I remember when I was a teenager finishing high school. My classmates hated me. I felt how they judged me all the time. Coming home on the last day of school was hell as usual. The boys who passed me by shouted horrible things at me, as if they hated me with all their souls. I thought about it and didn't understand why they did it. A thought haunted my head more and more. What if those guys went from words to hands? If my life was to die little by little every day, why not do it quickly and painlessly? I was so blind. If I had known what I know now, I wouldn't have dared to take that step. I took a rope from the basement and left the house. I hated my parents, but not enough to kill me in front of their eyes. I went to one of the most remote neighborhoods in the city and chose the loneliest alley. As I was about to do so, an old man turned the corner and met me head on. He tried to talk me into changing my mind, but I asked him to leave me alone. He insisted, saying he could help me. Without giving me time to respond, he grabbed my arm tightly and dragged me into a building, locking the door behind us. He was a sinister scientist with a strange proposal for a new life. He had done extensive research on anatomy, and after many experiments, he believed he had the formula for manipulating the human form. Turn a subject into any other person, including giving them other physical configurations. Obviously, I had my doubts from the beginning. I was desperate but not crazy. I asked him about the process, but he told me a lot of technicalities that I didn't understand. Finally, he produced a contract on a piece of paper and practically demanded that I sign it. Once again, I objected, but he replied with a smile that I had no choice. Suddenly, he took out a syringe with a green liquid and stuck it in my neck. Everything went black and I lost consciousness. I woke up strapped to a chair inside a small glass chamber. On the other side of the glass, the scientist refused to give me an explanation. He just asked me to let go and prepare to go down in the history of modern medicine. He activated one of the controls in front of him and began speaking into a microphone. Ready to begin experiment 84B. I struggled with all my strength to free myself, but it was useless. Activating first node. A bolt of energy pierced through my body, shattering my being into pieces. I couldn't even scream. My vision became blurry and suddenly I was blind. Jack's appearance begins to warp, activating the second node. The pain increased, and I felt my mouth and eyes close. The subject's face is completely transformed, ready to activate the third node. Suddenly, an alarm siren began to sound, and the scientist became very nervous. No, the face and limbs haven't fully developed. Abort experiment. The last thing I heard was a huge bang. When I woke up, the place was reduced to rubble. I could hardly see. It was as if a bandage was covering my eyes. I felt as if my mouth had been sewn shut with a needle and thread. My nose was also closed, but somehow I didn't feel the need to breathe. Getting up my arms and legs felt weird. It took me a few moments to regain control over them. I walked a few steps, and among the rubble I saw a huge smashed computer next to a dismembered foot. The trail of blood led me to a hallway that led to a door. I opened it and ran into a policeman who was inspecting the place. Seeing me, he screamed and ran off. I tried to call him, but he couldn't speak, so I went after him. As I ran, I felt as if my legs were changing, as if they were growing with each step. I soon caught up with him and tried to stop him, but suddenly a tentacle came out of my back and savagely pierced his chest. I looked at the dying body on the ground, with a huge hole in the torso, not understanding what had happened. I fled from there terrified, and again followed the trail of blood on the ground, which led me to the scientist. He lay on the ground, trapped by a collapsed beam. I thought about picking it up, and at once the tentacles came out again, pushing it away with little effort. But they didn't stop there. They lifted the man's body into the air and slammed him hard against the wall, spattering me with a shower of blood. I walked in a state of shock until I found a door that gave access to a bathroom. I wanted to get rid of all that blood, but looking at myself in the mirror, I was paralyzed to realize that I no longer had a face. Since then, I've been living in the nightmares of teenagers and adults alike, all because of that damn madman. I'm a lonely creature, but I would like to have someone to talk to, so I approach people, especially the children. They're the only ones who don't see me with fear. But I can't always control my body. Sometimes I make a mistake and someone dies. It's not my fault. I swear I didn't mean to, but I've completely lost control. I don't know how to be a normal person anymore, and around me is always evil and death. That's why I want to ask you a favor. When you see me, don't run away. Try to get close to me and talk to me. It would mean a lot to me, and it could be the thing that saves your life.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it. And if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you on the next episode.